Hey everybody, this is Mr. Gimpy here, and I'm here with Chipped Monk, and you are listening to the Combo Wombo podcast. What's up, bro?
What's happening, man? You seem like unsure of yourself there on that intro. You're like, oh, what are we doing again? Like, how many podcasts are you doing, bro?
Like 12. All
right.
ours. All
That's
ours.
fair.
I play the whole thing in my head now. No,
Yeah,
no, no,
all
no.
right.
We were going off our conversation right before I hit record, so I had one more thing to add, but we'll talk about it later.
Go for it, man. What's up? We're talking about
we
how
were talking
Tim
about
in Batman is
Yeah,
now
no, we were talking
turned
about
gay
comic
all of a
books. It's,
sudden.
no, it was more about like the comic books that are kind of back in vogue, like X-Men's back, Fantastic
Yeah.
Four's back, and I'm like on the DC side, I'd really like Static Shock to have a real run.
I think it's his owner creator, right? He passed away.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah,
Sorry if you're still alive, bro.
Yeah, no,
and like I know, like
something
his
happened
estate's
with it.
very controlling of that character. Like they
No,
want
DC owns him outright.
Yeah. I swear
was-
they had like some lawsuit though back in like not too long ago. So maybe
when-
like they won that. So
I don't know. Yeah,
now we're
but no,
spreading fake news.
he had his own like New 52 arc, but then when they retconned New 52, he's there and he's like running around the DC universe, but he hasn't had his own solo series in a while, and with like he's always been like kind of the DC version of like teenage Peter Parker,
I would
because
say Blade, bro.
How is he
That's-
Blade? He's
I would say he's like the equivalent where like he's like a fan favorite. He doesn't ever gets like a serious run of his own book. And like I don't know, like Blade had a good like mini series at one point, but they what you gonna say something?
no, like personality wise, he's nothing like Blade.
No, not personality. I'm saying like the way they treated the character though, where it's like he's been a fan favorite. Like he had like a good for Stack Shot, he had like a good cartoon. He had a live action adaptation. Blade had like a huge movie. What? No,
Static Shock did not have a live action.
definitely did. Like it was recently.
No,
It
he
was really
didn't.
bad.
No,
I
he
swear.
didn't.
Was
He did
it?
not.
Who was it? Who am I thinking of, bro?
There's Black Lightning who has a live
Is it
action
Black-
picture. Yeah.
Am I thinking about Black
and his
Lightning?
kids. You are.
Son
you're
of a
100%.
You can see how the confusion I might get.
Yeah. No, I
was
get it. I get it.
All right,
But-
that's fair. I would say they've treated both those IPs kind of the same, though.
Yeah, it's because like DC didn't create them, you know. Like
Yeah.
the ones DC bought and didn't create, I feel they always like throw by the wayside. Even going to Shazam, you know, the former Captain Marvel, who like kind of took the naming rights and just named him after the Wizard instead of Captain Marvel himself, and then gave Captain Marvel to the Marvel character to stop confusion. Shazam needs his own solo run that's meaty, and so does Static Shock on the DC side. I'm kind of bored of the big three on DC. You know, when we were talking about comics, I'm just catching up on Constantine as well. I haven't read it in some time, not since the New 52 reboot, and I hated what they
Is it
did
because
with
of
it,
that
so
interview with
we'll see.
Keanu? Is that why?
No, I like Constantine.
Because they asked him like what
Hellblazer.
character he'd like to play again. He was like Constantine.
That'd be great. That'd be
Yeah.
great. I really liked the movie. That's actually what introduced me to the character. But I've since the first Constantine movie, I've really liked the Hellblazer comics. I read the entire first arc, the 500 something issues. So
I feel like
You know.
DC's always done like their magic really well. Like
they have.
I know they've done like their comic series or whatever. Like I've only known them from like the Justice League and like every arc with like Doctor Fate.
Dr. Fate. Yeah.
Yeah, Doctor Fate. Yeah, such good characters. Like all their there seems to be like some weird fleshed out magic system in the DC world that they like I'm not introduced to, but I know it's there and I like that.
Yeah. It is. You know, it's an interesting thing. I think Marvel does powers and characterization a little better, but yeah, I think magic DC has them beat. I like Marvel's magic as well, but a lot of the times it's Deus Ex Machina of like Doctor Strange going, and in this book this had this and the Eye of Agamotto, which he hasn't had in years, but you know, it's like, and boom, blip blam boom, we are out of here.
Bing, bang.
But, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, good shit, man. You know, and I gotta say, man, I'm happy with this episode, dude. Like just kind of starting it. It's one of those things where it's a near full circle, man. You know, we got our top 5 last week. We got we're doing all like the big podcast like video game outlet milestones. You know, we did the game of the year. We did. Or now we're
Did you
doing.
see IGN Japan put Cyberpunk as their game of the year?
No, what?
Yeah. So
Okay.
everyone's like
So you're
the
saying it's a real game now?
no, I'm saying like money's exchange pockets, bro. Like the Shield media like is in full effect. Like, come on, bro. Uh,
That's funny. I guess it did have a lot of updates. You were talking about it a while back. That
yeah,
yeah.
they're doing stuff with it, but far from the game of the year. With like, there's so much other stuff out there. It's like it doesn't make sense for. Like I wouldn't even put it in there as like a contender. And like I don't know, we've always said it came out like in 2020 as well, like towards the right
Yep.
before the cutoff. So I don't know. And then it came out like
Broken
came out
as
the
hell.
gate, then like yeah, fell down the mountain.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you don't get second chances, Cyberpunk. But
Nah, it's
the Steam sale really helped it. It's
yeah,
sitting at mostly positive now because after a year and a half of patches that it's finally playable.
yeah. And they also just announced they're going to try and do a settlement for the lawsuit that they have with the
Yeah,
shareholders.
yeah.
So
Which it's I think it's like a $1 billion thing or something like that, and they made like 3 billion or something stupid. I
yeah,
might have the numbers wrong, but I think it's something like that. Or it might be 1 million and they made like 3 million or something like that. But or 100 million they made 300 million. I think that's what it was. But
something like that. It's
yeah, I know it was a 1 to 3. But yeah, it's what do you think about that, man? Like, what do you? Okay, let me ask you this. Just kind of getting into some gaming news. There's a couple controversies I want to bring up to you, and I want your opinions. One, the Cyberpunk fiasco, which, and then two, uh, at the recent Halo Infinite major, HCS Raleigh or whatever. The game was running on PC, and it had, I believe, 4 crashes, maybe 5 crashes, where the event that was scheduled for like 6 to 8 hours took 12 hours to finish. Like we've mentioned before that crashing has been a problem on PC. I have it very rarely, but I do have it. What? Okay, let me get your thoughts on Cyberpunk, on that settlement, and let's get your thoughts on Halo Infinite's crashing issues at the major.
I mean, for the settlement, I mean, I don't. It seems like they just don't want to go to court. Maybe their attorneys think they can win it or whatever because they're just like it's just cheaper to settle at this point because like lawsuits are just so expensive, especially. Hold on one second. Let me clear out my throat.
Let me clear my throat. There you go. All right.
All right. I think I'm better. Uh, yeah, international lawsuits, man. They're like a headache. So they're not based out of the U.S., but they think they're using U.S. terms to settle the lawsuit because I don't think they have them where they're at, and because it's like a corporation that's international, like they have shareholders all over the world. Like it's just a sticky, messy situation that's going to cost them way more to fight than to try and settle. I think at this point, but I mean, it's clear like they had a lot of missteps, mismarketing, lying, and it's not too clear as to who's at fault. Like if it's them or the marketing or like some miscommunication in between. Uh, if it's the business people, so I don't know. It's just good that they can put this behind them and start working on it. It looks like they have like a pretty good roadmap going ahead for the game. Sounds like they want to start working on like maybe a new Witcher game as well at some point, but that could just be to tie over the shareholders they have left. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's wild. Lawsuit City. What was the second bit of news there? The
Halo Infinite's PC version, in the first major tournament crashing.
taking
It
all
was
the 8 hours longer. I don't know.
yeah.
Like if they maybe used your fix, they probably would have been fine. Like clicking off the texture packs, dude. So it's unfortunate that the game's kind of in the state it is in, but it's definitely not tournament ready. Obviously, like I don't know why they would think it's a good idea to have a tournament. Like the game's been out for a month, if that, and then the roadmap isn't even going to have it like fully functional until like end of January. I want to say is that when their first major
May.
patch is May.
No,
Yeah.
first major patch already happened. But the like content patch May for like co-op and all that stuff.
Okay. I would say wait till May before holding any other Halo tournaments. Uh, and I think did we talk about this before? Where I was like, I would love to see them put in a tournament function in the game.
Yes, we talked
Yeah,
about that.
they like.
Uh,
I would say like all major games going forward need some sort of tournament bracket style functionality in there. Like if you have an online game that's competitive, you need tournament functionality. You need some way to track things. Like uh, it just is how we game now. Everybody games online. They game from home. Like it's way more uh like the way we do it now. Like for a lot of major competitive people is like they have Discord channels and they have bots that make brackets, and then you stream those games to those like Discord channels and stuff too. It's like it's a very clunky experience. So uh it would be nice. It'd be nice, man.
They should more developers should look to the FGC for that. Like Tekken, has a very good tournament system and built in. I think that could work really well for uh, big players. But like a lot of the esport games don't have pregame lobbies either, so you can't really have like a tournament bracket set up. They need to restructure how their UI works. So we'll see. Maybe in the future. But yeah, I agree that it's clunky. Uh,
I would say if I was in charge of a division, that's where I'd pour my resources into. I'd say like I wouldn't even care about playlists on Halo, dude. I'd be like, we need tournament brackets. Who cares about playlists? Like when you can just select who you're gonna play against. Like that's so big.
right, right.
I don't know. How do you feel about like it crashing, all this drama?
I'm happy that it crashed on a very major event. I and apparently they switched to Xboxes and it still crashed, which I'm actually happy that this happened because it's going to force 343 to fix the crashes sooner rather than later. Like yes, they're going on holiday, but for a fact right when they get back they're going to have to grind it out to fix these crashes because if it's happening at your major event, it's a horrible look for your company, for the game itself. Like we've said time and time again on this pod, the game is very fun.
Yep,
Bugs need to be fixed.
it's
Uh,
one of my
you know,
games of the year.
yep. So bugs need to be fixed, and I'm happy it happened on a main stage because I personally have been complaining to them on Twitter, and on the Halo
Yeah,
Waypoint forums. Like even though I'm not experiencing as many crashes as you guys, it's still an issue. So
yeah,
and other people have been complaining as well. There's been no real word from 343 on what to fix, but the fact that this happened on the main stage, it gives something tangible to point to all of us complaining about it. So
yeah.
everyone who listens or whatever, if you're playing Halo, I know we talk about it a lot on this pod. I just it's the game I'm playing now, and it's very fun for me. I just want it to be better, and I want it to work properly. So
Do better, Halo. Then there's different levels to bugs as well, like where they probably know about the majority of bugs that are out there. There's just like what do you have time to fix, and like what can we fix at the patch, and then like when you patch things, other things break. Uh, so it's one of those things where you go for like your 5 or 6 game breaking bugs that you can like stop first, and then like you go for like the smaller things. But uh, it's tough, man, especially like a big game like that where there's a lot of different departments, a lot of different assets and stuff, and then just how much is like pre-rendered as well for like lighting and textures and stuff. So it's like if you have to like remove something that's crashing, like you have to like rebake a lot of stuff, and it just takes time to do. Uh, and then like you're not even sure if that works. And then there's other things you're not even aware of until you have a million people playing your game. It's like,
right. A crash like that should show up in the event log though,
yeah,
if they have, and
yeah,
I'm sure they have one. So
yeah.
the
Oh, I'm
fact that it
sure
happened
like
at a major, they have access to those PCs as well. So I'm assuming they'll figure something out. Uh,
I feel like there's been so many crashes, like they have to know about most of the stuff by now, right? Like,
I still think that they're incompetent developer, despite me thinking that they did a really good job with this game. I still think they're incompetent, but
yeah,
they're
because
getting
like I
better.
don't see like a crash bug report thing like whenever I like crash in the PC, and that's like every other modern game has that, where it's like, hey, you crashed, would you like to submit this bug and like write a little comment about like what happened. There's nothing like that for Halo's like, yeah, you're
Yeah, fuck it.
consider yourself lucky if the game crashes. Like it might just lock up your system on
Hey,
you, dude, like, and you have
motherfucker, did you
to
crash? Well, fucking do better.
yeah, it's like restart, try again. I don't
Yeah,
know.
right.
We're not going to
So,
let you get back into that ranked game. Like,
yeah,
deal with it.
exactly. One thing that I'd say is the new development on the gaming landscape. Kudos, and I hate to give kudos to this company, but Activision, Blizzard, all their bullshit that's happening, yes, they're horrible. But
Always have been.
Call of Duty with their Ricochet anti cheat. doing God's work out there, man. Uh, it's working as intended. It's to the point where cheaters are flocking to Reddit forums and the official forums, going, "Hey, the game's telling me I cheated. I've only cheated once." They're like admitting to cheating
Yeah,
at some point, and they're like, "I'm getting shadow banned by everything. Even when I switch hardware, I switch everything. I'm getting banned." I'm like, "That's hilarious," you
yeah,
know.
man. They did
So
I believe, a GDC about
applause for
this,
them.
where they were using AI. So they've been doing this for games like Overwatch and all their other major games like Activision Blizzard, where they've been using AI and they record people playing the game, like normal people, and they'll do like sample sizes of a couple thousand players for each bracket. And so they take like these different sample sizes and they train AI on like how people normally play, and then they take people who are known cheaters, like people who've already got like their bans, and then they make like a data set of like how people look when they're cheating, and then they like train the AI on that, and then they run them against each other, and then they use that live to predict who's cheating and not, based on like cursor placement, based on movement, based on like how the average aggregate player like actually plays. And they have been doing this for years, that they've been working on these training models to like try and get better one AI out of it, right? Like, so if you can play against like other players, like you can't distinguish like online if like, is this another person or is this a bot? Like, it gives you a better experience. Like if you can play against like bots in your own cohort of like your skill level, like let's say like a dying game doesn't have like people like, so it kind of helps. Or like if you want to like have like a first person like experience, like how can we like speed up like making AI uh players to like play against? And then the second part is to catch cheaters. About so they've been working on this for a while. I know like Steam is also working on like something extremely similar. So I don't know, man.
Well,
Like it's technology.
I think the current thing, and this was controversial because Riot, owned by Tencent, did this. They have a kernel level anti cheat. It starts on boot. You can't disable it. If you disable it, you can't play the game. Um, Ricochet, the anti cheat for Call of Duty right now, is also a kernel level anti cheat. Um, it's like, I think the main thing is, at this point in time, it works. Like, cheaters will always be an issue, no matter what. You have online games, you're gonna have cheaters. But I
Yeah,
think that
people
so
changing
far,
physical hardware as well. Like I
yeah,
was talking about where like I have like a little dot I can put on my monitor if I want, like the cheater dot. So it's like always
yeah,
like a red center of my monitor.
right,
And they're
right.
like, this is a feature. It's like, this is cheating. They've
Mhm.
also made like external aim helpers as well now, that like they don't actually interface with the game or your hardware. It's like a physical piece that like you hook up to like through your HDMI, and it like recognizes the images of like characters and stuff, and it'll help you like with mouse placement and stuff, or like controller placement. So the cheaters always find a deeper level cheat.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
but it's like I said, like they're working on it. Like where there's only limited amount of resources to
Fighting
secure something.
fighting cheaters is an uphill battle, just like fighting
Yeah.
virus creators, right? For the antiviruses, it's just like antivirus companies are doing nothing but fighting viruses, right? Game companies, they're creating these games, and then they have to fight the things, right? So I think it's a resource allocation thing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but the more the better, because Call of Duty was definitely plagued with cheaters. Riot, just knowing that Counter Strike is plagued with cheaters, and they had a very similar game, so jumping on the anti cheat bandwagon right away was the proper thing to do, and I'm all for it. So one thing I'd like to see in 2022, let's get to our New Year's resolutions, man, and
Okay.
outlook.
Yeah.
There we go. One thing leading
The
into
band
that,
hammer.
I like more band hammer, man. I like that thing swinging all day. Just
All right.
just could take out cheaters, man. Like, no more cheaters by 2025. Let's call it right now.
That's
It'll always
bold.
be an issue, but I'd like to make it as hard as possible for these people, because they are ruining online games, and some games, like, you can't even play for it. You ever try playing Titanfall 2 on PC? It's impossible.
It's fair.
It's
I know
impossible.
like Counter Strike had a lot of issues as well, and still does. Like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't say that
but
game's
the game's still great.
impossible,
Yeah.
but I would say that when somebody does anything that's like a high level play, I always feel like it's super suspicious. Like, oh, it's also tough to distinguish between like Smurfs and people just trolling. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's levels to it, but yeah, I'd love to see by 2025, no more cheaters, dude.
Yeah.
That'd be all right. Let's just have fair, fun competition. And like, I never understood the point of it either. It's like, oh, the game is playing for me, and I'm just like sitting back. You're basically watching like a YouTube video of like a really good player at like a certain point, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I don't know, people watch those videos, so maybe there's something to like experience it firsthand. I don't.
There's I don't know. I think it's I don't know the mindset behind it. And I think like if we go back to like the '90s and stuff, where developers built cheats within the game to help them get through the game, or just to have fun little Easter eggs. I think a lot of these people are just unskilled in
Yeah.
general at games in general, and just like to game the system to have they go to tell their friends, "Oh yeah, I beat that game." No, you didn't. Like if you beat a game with cheat, you
Oh,
didn't beat the game.
how do you
Like
feel about strategy guides?
I'm okay with that
Are
because
strategy
you
guides
still
cheating?
no, you still have to do the mechanics.
All right, I always
Like
felt like strategy guides were cheating.
I I don't think I've ever used one really, but you know, I guess if it's a game, if it's one of those games where it's a huge exploration factor, right, and you
Yeah,
can't find shit, whatever,
I
you're still
will.
doing the mechanics. That's
Yeah,
the
I
main
will look
thing.
up stuff like that I can't find now in my older age, where I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't have time for the Easter egg hunt. Just like
Yeah,
let me look online. Where is this thing? And I'm like, oh, I never would have looked there. All right, I'm so
right,
glad I looked this up.
right.
Like, oh, I
Well, like
missed this a while ago.
I
Like,
beat
yeah.
the Infinite campaign, and for the skulls, I want to do a lasso run, which is legendary, all skulls on.
Did you find the
Um,
cheeseburger?
no, no.
There's a
Uh,
giant cheeseburger in there.
That's hilarious. But I'm gonna use a guide for all the skulls. I found two on my playthrough, like just playing through the game. I found the blind skull and the I would have been your daddy skull, but didn't find anything else yet. So I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna use a guide. I beat the game on heroic and
Yeah,
got everything done that I
you want your
could. So
skulls, man.
yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna unabashedly use that because it's a huge open world. Like I'm not gonna spend fucking days looking through every crevice for where they
Yeah,
hid these skulls. Like fuck that. But
nice,
yeah,
man.
dude. Like it is what it is. But yeah, no cheaters going forward. I think it'll be great. I'd also like some sort of anti-cheat option for the indie dev because when
Like
you
a
have
third party
like a
thing.
third
They,
party thing to build, like plug in. I think
yeah,
that'd be great and help indie devs as well, because indie devs are jumping online now. More and more indie games are having an online component, and having a third party client to at least help. Because as we're finding out, if your game's popular, cheating is going to be a problem, and you don't want that to ruin your online community.
yeah.
So, I think that would be incredibly helpful. But yeah, that's one of mine for 2022. No
For
cheaters.
me, VR, bro. I'm just going forward full gun.
Yes.
2022 is going to be the year of VR for me. That's I don't know. Like I'm going to get it. I'm going to try and, work on some games for it. I'm going to really fill it out. I don't know exactly what's going to happen with it, but I'm going to definitely try it. I know that there's like a few good like super good experiences out there that are like really expensive. I'm not going that route. I think the Oculus seems like a good entry point for me at this point. Uh, but like my use case scenarios, like we're talking a little bit before this, and like it started off our you know podcast today, where I was like, I like to read like comic books and stuff. So I'm like, I've heard it's not great for text and stuff as well. So like, I don't know how good it's going to be for me to like lay back and like read comic books, and not. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm willing to give it a shot, try it out, see what's going on with it, and really mess around with it. I know there's like a few really compelling experiences coming to like VR. Uh, Hopefully this next year, everything could get delayed. Who knows with the way everything is going? But yeah, VR, man. I'm excited about that. That's my resolution is to try that shit out and
Do you have
really
a
really
timeline
dive in.
for getting it?
I'm gonna get it when it goes back on sale.
What
It
if it
needs to
never
be.
does?
I don't know. I think New
I'm,
Year's
I'm
is like,
sure there'll be like an after Christmas sale, right? Like,
yeah, I'm looking like New Year's. That's usually when things go on sale. If it doesn't go there, I'm just gonna probably buy it then.
okay,
'Cause,
okay.
it's not gonna $50 isn't gonna make or break me at this point, but it would be nice.
Do
Only
you
because I know
have?
they had it and then took it away.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Do you have any games that you're looking forward to trying right away?
uh I think only Half-Life Alex,
Okay.
because I've only heard really good things about it. Like that's the premiere experience.
Yeah.
Other than that, like nothing. I think there's like a couple art things I want to try out, like the tilt brush stuff. Like
Yeah.
that looks really fun. But again, like I just everything seems like there's like a better 2D counterpart for
Oh
it.
yeah, it's still a growing
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So it's like I don't know, like I think we had this conversation at one point where it was like Sony has like this creative suite where it's like you can make like 3D models or games and stuff in it. Uh and then the people are like, but what's the point? It's not like you can like get this out of there and like export like any of these 3D models that you make. You can't like compile any of the games that you create. It becomes almost like its own little platform or whatever. But like if you want to
it's to get
take
you
those things,
started. It's the same
yeah,
thing. Like yeah, like there's definitely it's learning, man. That's
yeah.
like
I
I
feel the
get
same
that.
way about like Minecraft and stuff like that, where it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I understand why people have fun with this stuff, but like for me, I've already learned like the professional tools to do like all this stuff. Where it's like if I want to like design a house and stuff, I can just open up CAD 3D and start working on it.
It's a
You
gateway
know,
though, man. That's all it
yeah,
is. It's a
yeah,
gateway.
yeah. I get it, but like for me, like I'm an old man who's had to learn the hard way. Like, so yeah, they seem interesting, but like not worthwhile. Like, and like even like the music creation stuff, I was like, oh, that looks fun, but like I don't know, like I have like a keyboard and a guitar that I can like hook up to like my computer and like really mess around
Yeah.
and make some creative, interesting sounds. So
Okay.
I don't know,
Okay.
I don't know. I got like a drum pad, in real life. I don't have that thing plugged in right now. What does that tell you, bro? Like, it's a lot of work.
True. True. Yeah, man. So VR 2022. All right.
You know,
All right, Chip. Join it. Join in the fold. I love it. I love it. Um, let's see. For me, New Year's resolution 2022. Game dev side. I'm guessing we're gonna carve another day out just to work on things. Honestly, I haven't worked on things since Halo Infinite came out. I, in the back of my mind, I knew that would happen.
yeah,
It's yeah, I just got distracted. I'm finding, but 2021 was a crazy year for me. I started a new
it's for
job.
everybody, bro.
The things went into motion. There's some bigger. Excuse me. Let me just take a sip of
It's
water.
this
I'm just
dry air, bro. I swear. I guess having issues earlier. Like
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
it's this winter air, dude. It's like
It
coming in,
is. It is. But
crushing us,
but
crushing our.
I like I said, the game that I've been working on that I was supposed to show like 3 pods ago, I haven't worked on since, because Halo Infinite came out early, and I've been playing that. It's one of those things where I'm making the game for me, and I mentioned it on the pod just to force myself to continue working on it, and I will. I still have things that are out. I have concepts drawn. I have it written out. I still have everything saved. I didn't forget anything.
Do we have to do
I'm
a
gonna.
show and tell pod? We'll put us both on the spot.
I
But
think
like
we
this,
have to. I think we have
the
to.
show we got actually.
But yeah, I'd like to, I'm going to carve another day out for that because usually it's like Wednesday mornings when I work on it. And now I think I'm going to do like maybe like a Thursday or a Friday, maybe work on it 2 days in a row or something like that, just to keep it fresh and keep it going, force myself to do it. And the other thing I'd like is to do a game jam. A solo game jam by myself through in 2022. Um,
We talked about doing it at the Professor's house at one point.
yeah, yeah. If I
And
mean,
then we
if
just
we
never came together.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if we can carve out some time where we're like myself, you, and Professor chill out one day, just game jamming. Even if we're working on a project together or a project, separately,
Yeah,
just
just
having other like-minded people around to get that creative space going, is something that people don't realize you need. Why people are successful in school? It's not just because you're socializing and stuff like that, but when people are working on the same thing or the same type of thing, you can bounce ideas off. Everyone's in the
yeah.
same space, so I think that
Like,
would work great.
there's something about like seeing the other people also working. Like when you like start thinking about messing around or something, you like look around, you're like, I should probably just
Yeah,
focus in on this. There's something, peer pressure is real.
it is.
And
It
it works
is.
the opposite way too, where they like, I think they try to take like the best students and put them by the worst students to try and help out the worst students, but then the best students just became worse. Like, so it's like
Yeah,
you
it's a
need more
distraction factor.
positive. Yeah.
I remember, like it was like high school because I treated high school as a social gathering, and it just meant nothing. So I'd have like the Bart Simpson cone of despair or whatever, where all the students by him, he drags them down. He's like a black hole. That was
Yeah.
me. That was me. Everybody like, hey, what's up? It didn't matter who was sitting next to me. I was just talking to people, chilling. You know, I was having a good time. So
Yeah, man.
it
I
happened.
feel like that's what life's all about,
It
though.
is. It
Honestly,
is,
like
man. It is.
it's like
It is.
school's like the weirdest concept because it's like the only place where you like have dedicated study to a thing,
Yep.
and it's not even good.
Life
It's
is
not
not
like
like
it.
that. Yep.
No, life nowhere else in life is like that. Like deadlines and assignments and stuff. Like I've been late on like things I need to get done at work, and like it's fine. I've been early on like things I need to turn in at work. It's fine. Like nobody's like, oh, this is gonna really show badly. It's like no, it's fine. The real
Yeah.
world's like super relaxed. Like it's not
For the
that
most part.
serious.
Yeah. For the most part.
I
Agreed.
think it depends on like the type of work you do, but uh yeah, for the most part, it's just I would say like 90% of jobs are, very flexible, easygoing. I think what happens is you get like bad people like in management who, you know,
That was my key. Just become management. You
yeah,
never have to worry about it.
get to a high
Yeah.
enough level and nobody's telling you what to do.
Exactly.
That's the secret. Nobody knows
Exactly.
what you do even.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. That was my job for before I started this current one. No one knew what the fuck I did. I mentioned my title all the time. They're like, "Oh, okay." I don't know what Scott does. You know, that's
yeah.
like all right.
I remember
Uh,
explaining to the boys like what I do like a little bit ago. And I was like, man, I've been doing this job for years, and like nobody's really ever asked me. And, like I'm like explaining it, like I'm like I always like go like the quick and fast notes of like, oh, like
yeah.
if I can explain something like a sentence or two.
Yep.
And then like they started asking me questions. I started like doing like the deeper dive, and they're like, holy shit, I know you do all this shit. I'm like, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. 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 That's like yeah. It is. You're right. You're right. It is what it is, man. But yeah, it's more game dev stuff is really my
Yeah.
thing for 2022. I think we started it in 2021. Obviously game releases got in the way. I gonna try and get better on that. I know Elden Ring's coming out next month, so
You gotta
nose to the
play some Elden
grindstone.
Ring.
No, no, hell yeah, but nose to the grindstone, man. There's gonna be some days where I'm blocking off time. I've taken to putting myself on Do Not Disturb and on both Discord and Steam. So if I'm working on, so like I do this at work because a lot of times I get distracted. I'm like, oh, that looks pretty fun. One sec, but I'll just do that, and that's been helpful. So we'll try that for myself for the game dev. Do you
Nice.
have any others,
Yeah,
Chip?
man. For me, play more video games. I think I want to just play more like modern, newer games as
Can
well.
I
Like,
can I interrupt you for 1 second just
yeah,
to
what's it?
ask that? 100%. That is the perfect resolution for you. We so those who don't know, Chip and I will text each other going, "Hey, what's the topic for this week's pod?" or whatever. Or if we're talking about game dev or something like that, he's like, "Oh, like what things will we add to these games or things?" And Chip is stuck about 10, 15 years ago in game design, so he
Yeah.
doesn't play modern games. So yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think I shook you too, because like this last pod, I was like, I've been playing Boyfriend Dungeon, and then you didn't text me back.
I was shook. I was legit shook.
He was like, what? He did not know how to answer. He's like, what the hell?
So I didn't even know what that game was, right? So I looked it up. I
Yeah.
was like, okay. So I looked it up. I'm like, all right, that seems
It's-
weird, but go ahead.
It's
You do you,
basically
bro.
a dating
It's
sim.
a rogue.
I feel
It's a roguelike though, right? It's like a dating sim roguelike dungeon
it
crawler
tries to
thing.
be a rogue like. I don't know. It falls apart, man. I have like a whole review thing. I'm not going to get into it, but
Yeah.
it got weird, and then I think I'm done with it now.
But the thing is, you put yourself out there with a new modern game, so
Yeah.
you chose something that's completely left field. But I love it. I love it.
Yeah. One of the characters was just like super creepily written. Like she has like a stalker. And then she's like talking to you. She's like, oh, yeah, I'm the stalker, this dude I used to date. I also used to date his sister. And I'm like, what? It's like Sweet Home Alabama situation. And I was like, I think the writers thought this would be hot or something, or like they didn't know if you're going to play like a guy or a girl
Okay,
character.
so they're just bad both. Like,
Yeah, they're just like whatever, but like instead it just comes off like hella awkward. Like I understand the sentiment, but I was like, ew, that's gross. Like this person's weird. And it's like this is my second time meeting this person. Why would you tell me this? Like,
so correct me if the game's about like sexual fluidity, right? So like
it's people who can turn into swords, dude. It's the most fluid sexuality out there, bro. So yeah.
All
Yes.
right. All right.
It's like you could be a person, you could be a sword, whatever, man.
All right. All right.
But yeah,
Beyblade makes a whole lot of sense now, right?
Yeah, I would say it's lacking the cornerstones to like most dating sims. I think in most dating sims, like you need like a time clock
Yeah.
Like I think like it needs a time clock, and then they need like some sort of stamina or gateway to interact with like your prospective, you know, people you're trying to get with,
Yeah.
or go out on dates with. And then you also need like the third pillar, which is money. So you need like some way to get money in a game. Usually it's like a job.
I thought that's
Uh,
what the roguelike, like the dungeon crawling aspect
yeah. So
was.
they just poured all that into that. But what suffers because of that is uh, the dating part, right?
Okay.
So the date is like the person turns into a weapon and you take them into the dungeon, which is at the mall. And then that's where the roguelike element is. The problem with the roguelike element is like if you think of like it's like an isometric view of the
Okay.
battlefield,
Sure.
but it doesn't control 8 ways. You only get like 4 ways. So like if you can imagine like a compass, like northeast, southwest, then you take
Sure.
another compass and put it on top of that and then turn it like 35 degrees. Like it's a very
Movement's clunky then.
bad. Yeah,
Sure.
it doesn't feel good. Like the combat feels terrible. You start to get used to it. Like I start getting used to it. And at that point, like this, it's not hard. The way they ramp up the challenge is like you just get to monsters where you do less damage to it. So it'll take you like
Okay.
twice as long to kill them. So like I'll do a run and then it's like you went up 8 levels. And then like the date part also happens at the exact same mall you're fighting these monsters at. So you'll find like these like telltale things of like a mall, like an ice rink or an ice cream parlor or like whatever.
Okay.
And like you click A and then it's like, oh, now you're gonna have like a little mini date scene inside of this. So you can also give gifts, which is also like part of dating
Some
sims, but
dating
like
sim. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just interesting concept, and I think that's where they stopped. They didn't nail the roguelike aspects of it, and they didn't nail the dating sim aspect of it.
At this
So,
moment, would you play a sequel? If they improved, like, because
I
obviously they're going to improve on things.
uh probably not, just because the clunky writing. They also like they're trying to be all things to all people. Like
Gotcha.
it doesn't really work. Like if you're making like a game boyfriend dungeons, like you just
Yeah.
go in with it. Like you like if you're playing this game, dude, you're either into dudes or you're into dudes. Like that's it. So they try to like have like females in there. They try to like uh just make them as like ambiguously as possible. Where it's like
Okay.
this is they're like, I don't know, maybe you're a chick. And like I play a chick in there as my
Yeah.
character.
Mhm.
And I don't know, dating dudes is tough, bro, because like they're super aggressive. Like I like say something and then they just hit me back with like winky eye emojis and like an eggplant emoji, and I'm like, all right then. I was like, this
Get out of here, bro.
yeah, I'm like, come on, bro. Just trying to talk to you about swords. And like you're out here
You're out
throwing
here sending dick
eggplants.
pics.
Yeah. So so yeah, I would say double down on just being for dude, like you a boyfriend simulator.
does
And
it get into like the H game territory? Like, is it like an adult game at some point? Because most dating sims are adult games.
I haven't
Yeah.
I never got to like any of that point.
Okay.
I friend zoned all my dudes. Like, like I just want to like explore these dungeons with my bros, man. I'm not I'm not trying to sleep with them, bro.
That's amazing.
So yeah. And like it seems like way easier. Like having played like the other like female dating sims where you're trying to romance like a female. Like
Yeah.
in those games, like you have to go super like above and beyond. Like in this game, it's like, so what's up? You trying to go back to my place? And they're like, man, being a chick is playing life on easy mode, dude. This is bullshit. Like, you have to learn about them, like what they like, what they don't like. Like this is just like, so what's up? Let's go. You want dungeon dive or dive in some dungeon? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, wow, it really do be like that sometimes.
Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna add this game to my wish list. That sounds hilarious. Like, oh, that's great. That's great.
So yeah, I don't know. That's my resolution: play more games and just try out different stuff. Like yeah, it's been all right
Yeah. Yeah.
so far. Because before I was just playing like Overwatch, and I was like, I was started having fun with it, but I was like, I don't think this is that fun to watch. Like when you get to a certain level, like when you start like
Yeah.
learning high level strategies, like it's just about like holding position, taking ground, and like waiting for your teammates. And like
it has like a bit of a MOBA tinge
yeah,
with that, which yeah, that's
It's,
not for me. And then the game kind of evolved into that
yeah, and it just
from
becomes more
release.
of a grind, right? You're shooting for that 60% win rate, and then like you just have to grind that out over time. Like if you're not going to dedicate 4 or 5 hours, you're not going to climb,
Yeah,
and that it is what it is, and that's okay.
yeah,
So I don't know. I've just been trying out different stuff here.
yeah, yeah, man.
I think I'm going to try and stay away from RPGs because they just take so
Take
long.
the time sink. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think just choose one. You know, like maybe because you're a big RPG guy. Like I know that. Like just choose one. You know, choose one and then play other games. And then if you
oh,
know, because I feel like a lot of times when we talked, especially early on in the pod, you had like 3 RPGs going at once. you know,
yeah.
So I think that's part of it. Um, for my I'll do my last resolution and then I'll do like end of the year wrap up, like what I think we did well, things like that. So,
Okay, yeah.
my last resolution is actually for the pod. I think we've done an incredible job of staying on task. We've never missed a day. We've always released. My resolution or goal, I should say, is to increase the subscribers, man, on the pod side or YouTube side, whatever. Just more people, discovering us. Everybody who's come out week after week after week. I see the stats. I see you guys. Some of you guys are really rabid, and believe me, Chip and I both appreciate that.
Yeah.
Um, the
Got a
podcast
huge fan.
has been super fun. Like I find it very fun to talk to Chip. I find it very fun to see the growth and see things that
I don't even see the growth side of that. Like you handle all that stuff.
I handle that
And I'm
part.
just
Yeah,
like, yeah, to me it's like a black box. And like I'm okay with that. Like
you
I
talking to nothing.
no, like where it's like, all like the fans and stuff where it's like you know, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I think that one of the things what this pod does for me is I enjoy talking about the medium that I love, right? Gaming. And I
Yep.
have very little people to talk to about it in depth that knows both sides of it.
Yeah.
Like it'd be like you, Professor, and like Julian, or Sir Solus, Sir Trike as well. But like I can't talk about like a game like even an obscure game and then go and talk about the development side of it, right, with very few
Yeah.
people. And it's something that I can do with you. And then like we both have different games that we like as well, so we both bring different perspectives. And I've been enjoying that aspect of it. I think each and every week we do the pod, I learn more about you. I learn more about just how we both like, approach this thing called gaming. So it's been fun. I hope it's been fun for everyone else listening and watching. Just more of it, man. Just get more people and let's just keep it going. Our combo wombo mugs, I'd like to get to a point where we can put those out if you guys want to support. Just stuff like that.
Start slinging mugs, dude. We gotta
Start
get into the mug
slinging
game.
mugs, man. Slinging mugs. Sending dick emojis to everybody.
It's like sending eggplant emojis to
Exactly.
all right,
Every
yeah.
every mug we ship will have an eggplant emoji with it because we
Don't
got
make that promise. We can't. That's a deep promise,
It's a
bro. Like
deep
we have
promise.
to.
It's true. It requires work.
Requires a lot of work, dude.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
man.
It's
Uh,
that's big. I try not to worry about that kind of stuff because it's like something we have no control over.
yes,
Uh,
yes.
it's
I
like
like putting it out there though, because at least it's on the forefront. It's on my mind.
yeah, it's facts, man. Nice.
Yeah. So end of the year wrap up.
Let's do it.
Things that I liked, things that
What did
happened
we
that I
do well,
love.
man? What can we
Um,
improve?
let's see. I think well improving. I'll handle podcasts and I'll handle gaming. Well, we have conversations that we don't really talk over each other any longer, and I think that's a huge improvement. I
Yeah,
mean,
I've been doing
definitely we'll
that.
interrupt sometimes or whatever, but that's the nature of conversation, especially when we're in this digital space.
Yeah.
Like I said, we never missed a day. I think that's huge, and I think just continue that. The gaming side, for me, I've taken time to reintroduce myself to the competitive side of things. 2019, I went to a tournament for Mortal Kombat. I went to Combo Breaker. 2020, COVID hit. 29 tail end of 2019, yeah, but COVID hit. Everyone was really home all the time. But I personally, my kids are at an age where they're a little more independent. They're more predictable in their bedtimes, things like that. So I've gotten to reintroduce myself to gaming competitively, even like if I'm not being competitive, but just taking certain games more serious. I've dabbled in speedrunning as well. I'm just happy that I got to sit down and reintroduce myself to games. You know, that's
Yeah.
like the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been working on too, with like trying out all these different games and stuff, and just exploring like what's out there. I think what we've done extremely well to a creepy degree is our predictions for the future. Like it feels like everything like we predict, like a week later or two, like that thing happens. So it's been like we talked about Amazon infrastructure on one episode, and I was like,
Yes.
yeah, it's kind of scary that it's all on one thing. If that thing goes down, she's like, oh, I'll never go down. Then it like went down the next
It
week.
went down the next week
Yeah,
3 times. It's
yeah,
gone
it
down this
started.
year. Yeah.
It's been causing major problems. The time we talked about like trucking, and like we're doing like a trucking protest right now in Colorado, so things are going like sideways. I was like, oh no, it's like all we do is predict misfortune. Like we got,
We need to
but
predict.
during that podcast though, I did say I was like, you want to have at least a month of dry goods on hand, so we prepared you here at the at the
Combo
combo.
Wombo.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
doomsday preppers.
yeah, doomsday always been, always have been. But yeah, man, it's my one buddy was like, you gotta start predicting like good things. He's like, because he's still holding on to GameStop, so he's like, put in the good word for GameStop. GameStop, man, I don't know. They're trying to do some NFT nonsense. It doesn't seem great.
NFTs are the current chic thing to do, and I think it's not fleshed out enough to be profitable for me.
It seems like we're heading into cable TV territory moving forward with the
Do not
internet.
give me a JPEG with a dollar value. It costs you nothing.
That's
to
where
make
things are
it,
going, bro. That's
and I don't like it.
no.
Ubisoft is making an NFT game right now that the shareholders hate the idea of, which I can see why. Typically, I don't agree with shareholders on any company, but yeah, what the hell are you doing? Stalker
Ubisoft's
2.
done weird things. They
Ubisoft,
promised us the Rayman Legends engine, and
and they
they're
never
like, yeah,
released it to us. Yeah.
they're like, we're gonna make this open source, it's gonna be great, and then they're like, nah, fuck you guys. They're like, there's a hard proprietary software, we ain't giving this out to nobody to make games with.
Yeah, yeah. I think that the NFT boom, one of our mutual buddies, Spork, would say some of the pros of it in theory. And he made some good points, like you can resell your digital games or something because you have the license for it, things like that, and then the
Yeah,
developer will always get a cut. That I can see. That's actually an interesting point of it. But we live in a corporation in a world, in a corporation driven world. They'll find a way to fuck us.
corporation's like the
Like,
perfect way to just say we live in a corporation at
yeah,
this
right,
point.
right. Everyone's trying to fuck you at all times, just like Boyfriend Dungeon. People are just sending you dick pics in life, man.
Yeah,
Like I walk outside, and if we take all the advertisement and stuff in as a dick pic, we're just getting bombarded with dicks just all over us.
and it works, man. Like that's why they do it. Like
It does, Sometimes I gotta breathe, and a dick just slaps in my mouth. It's awful.
bam, and you're like, oh
It's
no,
the
no, I'm
worst.
eating these cheeseburgers from this company that I didn't want nothing to do with.
Exactly.
Pickle
So
radishes.
I think the NFT boom for gaming is a very, very slippery slope. I don't
It's
trust
where it's
it.
going, man. Like they seem like they want everything. They're saying like Web 3.0. So I think what they're trying to do is like reissue websites and stuff out based on like some sort of blockchain technology, where it's going to be, you're going to need like a subscription just to go to different websites. Like that's where it's going, and it's going to be like
news sites already do that, like the Washington Post and shit like that. It's like, subscribe to us to see this article. Fuck you.
what they're going to do though.
Subscribe button.
Much like what happened with cable TV, like there's going to be giant conglomerates that buy up like the smaller stations, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, it doesn't seem too ridiculous to pay for my HuffPost news outlet, package where I get like every news media outlet plus the magazine distributors that they own, like underneath it, I get access to those sites. I get premium access, bro. This is awesome.
Here's what I'm gonna say, man. Keep the internet free.
Yeah,
that's the main thing.
they don't want to, bro. There's too much money to be had. Like if you just put it behind a paywall, they know this.
I know.
So,
I know. Can only hope for the
and
best.
this is finally the technology that allows them to put up the gates, and it's over.
Yeah.
It's coming, old man.
I,
You better start
I
staking
hope I'll be
claims to.
long dead. Oh man. So what was I saying? Yeah, NFTs. But yeah, man. And end of the year, and also I this year through this pod I got back into game dev.
Yeah,
I'm I'm happy and I'm proud of myself for doing it. Just getting back in. Definitely talking about it all the time helped, but it's what it does is even after this pod, after we talked, that spark is still there. And I'm the type of person, if I have an idea, I have to get it out at some point. Otherwise, it bugs the shit out of me until it does. So I would just jump in as a game maker and just start putting shit down, or even just open up a Google Doc and write down like a design document,
yeah.
or ideas.
I've
It's
been
it's
doing that more now, where like I have like a little bit of like a notepad, and I've been just every time like a game idea comes to me, like I'll do like a quick sketch and like write it out like my idea. I'm like, oh, this is kind of a game idea I've been thinking about. So I don't know. I think it's good, man. Like we kind of talked about like how school teaches you like not to learn or question authority. I would say like in life, never stop trying to learn new things. Like I would say like uh, most of us will have a bad experience trying to actually learn in the school system, because it's not set up for you to learn and be creative. It's set up for you to be a good corporate citizen, like work in a factory job that doesn't exist. The whole structure of a school system was set up when you could drop out at fifth grade and get a job at a factory, and that no longer exists. Like you're stuck in there till you're 18 now. So uh, they don't know what to do, but they know they have to keep you there, and they're getting money to do it. So they're incentivized. Like all the incentives are there to like just basically keep you in a prison system.
What a
Yeah,
dystopian hellhole we live in, huh?
you know, it's not too bad. It gets better. Like if you're an
Yeah.
adult, you have plenty of options, opportunities. Like there's if you have reasonable average intelligence,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes, yes.
I'm not gonna
I was
blow
like,
smoke up people's ass, dude. Like
I
if you're
mean, you
dumb,
are,
man,
but
like
yeah,
if you're dumb, like you're kind of screwed. Like if you don't have like a average or slightly above average IQ, like it's gonna be a struggle, man.
you have to be. You should be attractive at that point, right?
Yeah.
Because
Like if
like,
you gotta be good looking, you gotta have some money, or you gotta be smart. That's the trifecta in life. Like
if you're
I'm
ugly and
not
dumb, you're fucked.
yeah. You need two of those three, and you can get the third one. Okay.
You can get all of them, man. Just have plastic surgery, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you're ugly but you have money, and yeah. You
Don't.
get the
That's what
you
we're
get
gonna
the
take away from this
get
pod. Don't be ugly. Don't be poor.
don't be poor, don't be ugly,
Don't
man.
be poor. Don't be dumb.
You can do anything if you're not dumb, poor, or ugly. Like it's sky's the limit. Like
So, uh, I just want the more you know thing popping up right now. I think you're editing this one. It's
you
timestamp
got it,
right
bro.
here.
Yeah,
Oh shit, that's funny. But yeah, man. Combo Wombo, man. We're actually almost to our year anniversary. Did you realize that? That's
yeah,
insane.
dude. It's
It's
getting
insane.
serious, dude.
Yeah, episode
We got
52 will
fans
be
around the
our
world.
will
Like,
be our 1 year episode. So
yeah.
we're getting there, man. It's insane. Man, do you have any other do you have anything you're looking at saying you liked that happened this year? Because I think I've done
I don't
all
know, I think
mine.
we touched all of it, like the consistency, like just doing it. I tried messing around with like my own YouTube channel for a little bit. I grew that out. That was fun. Doesn't have much. I've learned a lot. I've treated it more of as like an experiment channel of like, what can I do to make a popular YouTube channel? That's some interesting insights into that. I did like a lot of like A, B, and C testing, where like I did different things with like tags and all that stuff. But uh, yeah, other than that, probably should finish my game that I've been working on. It's at the tail end, and like I think about it all the time, but I don't know, man. It's just so much time in the day, and I have gone deep into like just reading comic books and playing
Yeah.
video games right now, man. It's just
I think
get into
that
that winter.
once I start ramping up my own, you'll see it, and then you'll start working on yours. The closer I
Uh,
get to the end finish line, you're gonna be like, "This motherfucker started this game after me, and he's almost done. Fuck this dude!" And then you're gonna start working. It's always like for me, that's like the motivator. I'm like, "The fuck are you doing?" And I start, I'll do that.
that's it,
So
man.
it's kind of like you ever play like a competitive game, and you're doing really well, and you're not really paying attention to the scoreboard, and then you look, and then like your buddy is ahead of you by like 2 or 3 kills, and you're like, nah, fuck this dude. I'm gonna be ramp it
Yeah,
up.
step it up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like that. That's how I do a lot of things. Like, it's just my personality, I guess,
Yeah.
man. Just always need to be driven to
There you
do well.
go.
So, you learn it. But yeah, man, I think that does it. That's the New Year's episode, boys.
That's
So,
yeah. We came, we saw, and lived our best life.
yeah,
We lived, laughed, and loved in these.
live, laugh, learn, eat.
Yeah,
Eat,
prayed.
love,
Yeah,
pray.
dude.
Yeah. So just anybody on YouTube, sound off in the comments what your New Year's resolution is, what you loved about 2021. And if you're listening to us on either Overcast or any of the other podcast providers, we see you. Thank you so much for the
Yeah,
support,
appreciate it.
and keep it going.
So
into
we're on watches
2022.
now. We're on
We are.
wearables.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're everywhere.
We are everywhere. So, like, as always,
Legion.
guys, like, share, subscribe, share with 900,000 of your friends.
Oh,
Spread the
yeah,
word of the
yeah.
combo
Spread.
wombo.
Peace.
I'm
We have
Mr. Gimpy. That's Chipmunk. We're out of here.
did like 5 exits.